Wavetable synthesis is a beast, and you need to know a few things about it to get the most out of it. Wavetable synthesis consists of playing back looped sections of a wavetable, a long section of audio which may allow for huge tonal variation and is indexed, so that the loop, regardless of position, will play back an audio snippet of the same pitch. Various amounts of these different looped waves can be played back and combined to create the wavetable's tone based on the position in the wavetable. This, again, sounds convoluted, but basically what it means is that the sound you get changes depending on the point you place your wavetable position marker. We're going to use Native Instruments Massive as our example here, as Massive owns the lion's share of the current wavetable market, and I'll go through a couple examples of how wavetables work. So to start with, let's have a look at wavetable synthesis the way that we've implemented it in our examples in Massive so far. Let's have a look at the saw square oscillator. In analog or virtual analog synthesis, the blending of saws and squares is often done by choosing one or the other, or both, and then adding them together in the mixer section of the synthesizer using volume controls. In wavetable synthesis, this is a little bit different. Our position in the wavetable is controlled by this wavetable position knob, marked WT position. When we move the knob, we're actually scanning through the wavetable, and depending on where we place this WT position, we get playback of a different recorded sample of sound. This is all fine and easy to grasp, but really at this point we're just using wavetable synthesis as a stand-in for an analog-style oscillator in a subtractive synthesis scenario. This isn't exploiting the main strength of wavetable synthesis though, which is our ability to morph the oscillator in a manner which is either unachievable or very hard to achieve with other types of synthesis. Let's explore that. We're going to start with an envelope sweep of the same wavetable, a saw square. With some attack and a long decay, you can hear the morphing effect in action. If we try another wavetable, like the scrapyard, we can get even cooler results. Modulated by an LFO as well as an envelope, we can hear an even more complex result. And finally, let's stack two instances of the scrapyard up and add different modulations to each, and place them an octave apart. You can hear how wavetable synthesis, in particular modulations on the right wavetables, can help you get that sound, the kind popularized by dubstep and other forms of bass music. This is a mixed blessing. Remember I mentioned earlier on that wavetable synths have something in common with sampling, and that's that the wavetables themselves are audio recordings. This means that they're static and that everyone who owns a certain wavetable synth owns the same wavetables. Certain sounds are very easy to create in synths like Massive, to the point where they can become ubiquitous. Wavetables have sweet spots, and certain sweet spots will end up getting used over and over and over again. Remember that when you engage in sound design. Wavetable modulation is a great source of motion and variety in your oscillator section, but should probably be viewed as an ingredient in your sounds, and wavetables benefit from subtractive style processing and all the techniques we've already discussed to help them become yours. To recap, wavetable synthesis is a style of sample playback that allows for a huge variety of morphing tones to be created. It relies on the playback of multiple instances of indexed audio files to create amazing tones, but benefits from being treated in the same manner as any other oscillator, rather than as a standalone sound source.